Happy Friday, everybody. Hey, before I get started, I'm trying a different setting on my microphone because I know that people have said, and I agree with them, I don't know what the deal has been with the volume. So make some comments below as far as the volume and if you can hear me, if it sounds okay, because this is actually, I'm not sure how this is going to work because normally you record in mono, and I think that this setting is stereo. But I'm just gonna try it and see if it works. If it doesn't, then I'll go to Plan B or Plan C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Anyway, today I wanted to make a video showing my viewers what the people who actually live in the Truckee Tahoe area have to say about the Kylie Rodney case and about the corruption that is continually going on in that area. Now, earlier this morning, I did a video short about Plunder being denied CHP's accident report on the basis it was not an accident, but an incident. Give me a break. I mean, I even heard Scooby-Doo go, huh? My dog. I got my dog's attention. He's like, "Where's Scooby at? I'm going to steal his snacks." Oh, man. Am I mistaken, or did they come out on the news recently saying that this was an accident? Dudes, make up your mind. It cannot be both. It's an either-or scenario. It's either an incident or an accident. It cannot be ruled as both. All right? They're two completely different things. I mean, this game playing that CHP is doing is just total crap. It's ridiculous. I mean, hey, when they hang on, let me get my composure. I'm ready to kick somebody's butt. I'm about to whoop somebody's ass. Yeah. You know, when they pull stuff like this, they're just digging a deeper grave. First off, if you're saying it's an incident, then you are admitting it is more than an accident. Duh. I mean, I understand what they're trying to say. They're covering their own asses as well as the other law enforcement involved in this by doing this and making some excuse to keep it back. You know, I just think they're changing it around and doing this so they have some bullshit excuse for not releasing the information to the public. No. And by the way, it doesn't matter what they rule it, incident or accident. If the investigation's complete, which everything I've seen indicates that it is, these documents are public information, and they fall under the Freedom of Information Act. They have no right to hold back that information, and it is illegal for them to do so. If you can't tell, I'm really fired up about this right now. Flame on! Anyway. So I'm wondering if they continue to hold back the info, if we could get together and start a class action lawsuit against them for illegally refusing to release that information. And hey, we don't even need to win. Seriously. But I think just a lawsuit of hundreds of people would force their hand. Okay, I've learned this from experience. Public entities do not like litigation against them. They don't like to deal with it. I remember when I worked for the police academy in Seattle, they were sued for something they actually could have gone to court and easily won because the lawsuit was, I felt, pretty frivolous. It was baseless, right? But even though they could have won it, instead of fighting it, they settled it out of court for a pretty good chunk of change, as I recall. They didn't want to deal with the court battle and the public scrutiny that would come as a result of it. You know, I know Truckee has money, but I don't think CHP would want to be ravaged in the news. So, if there was a way that we could do a class action lawsuit, it might just force them to hand over everything they have to the public. Something to think about anyway. So, having said all that, I want to spend the rest of our time just reading comments from people who live in the Truckee area and what they have to say about the Kiely Rodni case. Now, keep in mind, I am not making statements about anybody or even rendering an opinion on any of this. So this is not from me. I'm simply the messenger boy. I'm just reading what they've said. Sorry, my dog is going after flies, catching flies. He's cracking me up. I don't know. They come in so quick. It's like you open the door to let him out, and it's like, shoo, like 10 flies will come in. Anyway, so my disclaimer is I'm simply reading what they have said to me, and I'm sharing it with you, my viewers. All right? I'm just the messenger boy. All right, let's begin. All right, first one says, back in 2009 and for 5 years, I was a whistleblower, calling out corruption that personally affected myself and my business in my small California town. This situation in Truckee seems similar to what I was dealing with. And by the way, she didn't live very far away. Okay, so same basic area. Wealthy people, their families, employees, or thugs, locally owned banks, authorities, politicians, and all those that are getting handouts and covering up. Also, the DA's office will protect these people and close their eyes along with the courts. The main thing I want to point out is that there are very few people that will stand up and speak against what's going on. Most people back down, turn against, or hide behind those that are trying to fix the corruption. Take note that all of the kids involved have parents that fit into the categories above. Totally independent people involved are all telling the truth of what they saw. Anyone else is probably gaslighting. They're covering their ass or somebody else's. And then this is my interjection here. Speaking of who deserves the blame, she says, I think the maximum needs to go against Lindsay. She should not profit. She needs to go to jail. I'm not going to argue. All right. Next. No one talks about Kiely's death, and it has been just brushed off as an accident. There is a good reason why you and I can't stop thinking about this. It does stink. The documentary Everyone Counts sheds light on the culture here, but it is not just the homeless or known substance users. It's anyone who gets in the way of people who count to law enforcement or the community. Law enforcement, of course, have good people, but many are lazy, unqualified, or corrupt, and they are the squeaky and powerful wheels, i.e. Samantha Smith, Megan Cole, both daughters of rich and powerful families. All right, next. The problem in Truckee and many of the problems in local government are due to corruption through nepotism, money, and power. Many families work together in local and state government in California. Government work is stable and pays well in most of those areas where there was no work. The office Kiely's grandmother works in is no exception. It actually is almost as corrupt as the prison, which, if you've done any research, they have a big blow up there in the prison, that area. It says if you speak up out here, you get ganged up on and ruined, killed, put in prison, whatever works. Boy, sounds like a place I'd really like to live. Not. Okay. Next. I just started attending a Truckee church for Bible study only. Kate Kuno's mom attends the church, I was told. Kate is Kiely's friend. I was told this. Kiely was accepted at Yale. Kate Kuno was a very happy child. Kate attended a Christian school affiliated with this church. It was verified there was a party at Prosser. That is a given 3 times over. All right. I know a few people in Truckee I trust who also verified it. This means teens are withholding the pics which were surely taken that night. I am surprised they all have such self-control. Parents must have scared them shitless. Maybe they heard Kylie's screams that night. And this one's interesting. I even approached a teen working at a store. I said, I just have one question. Do you happen to know if a party actually took place at Prosser the night Kylie went missing? It was as if he saw a ghost. Instructed to shut up by his parents? He answered, yes, I can tell you for sure it was a big party. Then he walked off. He saw that we were shooting the breeze with the owner of the place he worked at, so understood we were not just strangers coming into town. I suspect that is why he divulged that little amount. All right, then next one. I am the reason Placer County Sheriff Devin Bell was forced to resign. It took me 60-plus hours a week for months to put the case together that didn't involve the grand jury taking my word for it. Letting it sink in slowly as Sheriff Bell kept digging, causing me to report him over and over. I could barely keep up with his criminal activity against a loved one. The grand jury could see it unfold until it got so bad I requested he be prosecuted. Says he did the ultimate and they saw the proof. Other innocent people suffered for doing the right thing against Sheriff Bell. Just doing their jobs, they suffered for it. It's kind of interesting to see things on the inside, isn't it? Next. I follow the Kylie Rodney case to see how the FBI handles it. I guess I wanted answered that I didn't go to the FBI and always wondered the outcome. It was a good decision, and I will never go to the FBI about it. They won't do jack. Next. Kylie's mom is not savvy enough to pull this off, but her husband, the stepdad, is. Sammy, too. Maybe stepdad masterminded it and promised Sammy Smith she would benefit financially if she did the deed. They did pay Sammy some amount of money from the lodge, I hear. All right. The only thing I'll say about that is that, that's an opinion. It may be right, maybe not, or maybe true, maybe false. I don't know. I'm just reading what she said. Mom kept the $75K GoFundMe started just 48 hours after Kylie's disappearance. Actually, it was started the next day. It was started that Sunday on the 7th. She was reported missing on the 6th. So, anyway, that's the only commentary I make on that. But all right, so blah, blah, blah. After Kylie's disappearance, I wonder if they used some to pay Sammy or Sammy and Jagger. Jagger was way into Kylie, in my humble opinion, so I suspect he knows something, but he wasn't actually part of the actual murder. Who knows if there truly is life insurance on Kylie? It does align with it. If it is deemed an accident, the pay is double. All right. It may be possible Mom was so drugged out with the stepdad that she couldn't stay awake for her own daughter to arrive home safely that night. Maybe Mom was waiting for drugs in her system to dissipate before calling law enforcement, if it was voluntary. Cultish Mom reported her missing, I think, about 5 p.m. the next day. Actually, I think it was, 5 p.m. on Saturday. Yeah. All right, Kylie's MacBook contained a DAB sticker, which stands for Drugs Are Bad, and a MILF Patrol sticker, which may refer to her own mother, blanking Jagger. Well, he is living there. This whole thing smells of sex trafficking or some huge origami between many of the players. Yeah, you'll never look at folded paper the same way again. All right. I do not believe Mags led Kylie to the slaughter, but who knows? Kylie graduating a year early, going off to college, probably infuriated those low-life narcissists surrounding her. I suspect she may have gotten saved so the dark spirits were after her. Her mother had a cleansing station and cultish tables at the memorial. Pics show that she was priming these kids into witchcraft with tarot cards and other games. Law enforcement deliberately didn't test for the drugs that could have killed Kylie. I believe she was drugged with something and her car pushed or drove into the lake after Nick, the tow truck driver, encountered Sammy and Jagger in Kylie's car around noonish the following day. So that's what the locals think. That's who he encountered. So I don't know. Of course, we'll never know because AWP is not going to release it. It was reported there was no water in her lungs, no signs of a struggle or asphyxiation. I don't believe anything they say. I also doubt Kylie wanted to go to Good Vibrations in Reno, Nevada, so Kate and Jagger had to go to Reno to search for her. That sounds made up. I wonder what they really did in Reno. Well, we know one thing. All right, clearly it was planned by law enforcement from the get-go to push it all under the rug. A rumor stands that Nate, Sheriff Wu's son, attended this Prosser party. If so, maybe that is his excuse to not even show his face, once briefly to offer his condolences. His absence is glaring to me. That's all. You probably saw the funny documentary about how Nevada County Sheriff's Department charged and often threw people in prison, 900 to be exact, out of 900. Or 900 to be exact, and out of 900, only one got a jury trial. Surely the grand jury was notified, so how is that possible? Anything's possible in Truckee. All right, so we see that not everybody in Truckee is taking all this sitting down. Some are actually raising their voices and fighting back, but most are afraid to. You know, so many people I've heard that talk about that they've asked kids, about the party and about Kylie, and they just act almost terrified, afraid to say anything. I mean, does that sound like just an accident to you? Here's the thing. Why is it so many people in Truckee view this as something suspicious, nefarious, while so many creators have jumped the fence to the accident side based on some fire cam footage that is suspect at best? And I still believe that Nick, the service driver, is credible. Doug with AWP said that he and his girlfriend were 100% credible. Look, and I'm not trying to brag when I say this, I'm just stating facts. I have been trained in interrogation. I've interrogated hundreds of people when I was a cop. I know what to watch for. Body language, eye movements, hand movements, tone of voice, rate of speech. And I know that we've only seen like 10% of the interview that they did with Nick, but just from watching what we do have and observing everything about him, he comes across as 100% credible to me. Now, just because he ran into the vehicle at Boca doesn't mean he was trying to draw AWP away from Prosser. That's an assumption that I think has no basis in fact. I guarantee you that wouldn't come close to standing up in a court of law. And that's one more reason I am totally pissed off at AWP. They could clear a lot of this up if Jared would man up. And you can say whatever you want. I still think it's all about money, all about greed, and I've lost all respect for Jared. Now, you can comment all you want and say whatever. That's not going to change my mind. Now I might make some of you mad, but you know what? One thing about me that you have to say, I'm always going to be real. And I'm going to be me. I'm going to say what I think. And so that's what I believe. I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I'm just saying. That's my take on it. And that's the thing. Okay, so folks, we have some people there in Truckee who want to make their voices heard. But when they do, they're harassed. They're intimidated by the powers that be. I don't remember who it was, but somebody in my comments suggested us make T-shirts that say Kylie's Army. I like that. I think that would be a good T-shirt right there. You know, I just had this thought right now. It just cracks me up. Can you imagine flying a bunch of planes over Truckee, and all of a sudden here come like 500 paratroopers out of the sky descending on Truckee? I can just picture it in my mind. I can imagine people sitting there going, "What is that? Look, it's a bird. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Kylie's Army descending on Truckee." You know, but I'll tell you right now, though, I wouldn't be one of them. Oh, hell no. No, I ain't paratrooping out. I ain't jumping out of no plane. No. I mean, you're lucky to get me up in the plane in the first place. If I get up in the plane, the last thing I'm going to do is try to jump out of it. I don't like flying. But now what I'd rather do is I'd rather roll into town with a tank, drive right up to the courthouse, point that cannon right at the courthouse, get on a loudspeaker and scream, "How you like me now?" Oh, gotta be funny, wouldn't it? At the same time, all these paratroopers descending, you know, all over the place around there. God, can you imagine? That'd be cool. You'd probably call the Air Force. They'd probably like the stealth bomber start coming along, trying to knock all the paratroopers out of the sky. All right, anyway. I just wanted to share these tidbits with you today and hope that they were informative and you got something out of it. I'm not sure when I'm going to do my next live, but I'll try to put out an announcement in the community tab. But I hate using that word. I wish they'd name it something else besides the community tab. That YouTube community. Anyway, y'all have a good day. In fact, as Paul Harvey used to say, good day.